Hey guys, Miss Moxley again. So what we are going to do here is I'm going to go over the astronomy lesson with you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the lesson and some best practices in terms of taking notes. So when we look here at the objective page for the astronomy lesson, what we've got is we've got some objectives here at the very front that state explain the nature of astronomy and explain the concept of the universe. I would jot these down. So I would put astronomy and then I would put the two objectives, because by the end of the lesson you need to be sure that you can at least do these two things. Then over here on the right, what we've got is we've got keywords, okay? These are essentially some of the vocabulary words. These are not all of the vocabulary words though. Vocabulary words in the lesson will be bold and the definition will be in the text. So as we go through the lesson, I'll point some of those out for you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I meant to click the other next, not that next. All right, let me see. Sorry, having to shift things around so I can get my next button here. All right. Introduction to astronomy. So what we have here is a little warm-up. I want you guys to do this tonight. So what you're going to do is you're going to go home tonight when it gets dark and the sky is clear. Go outside and observe what you see. Make sure you put the date and time. If the weather is rainy, stormy, if you can see, if it's cloudy or not. The phase of the moon, if you can see the moon. Any constellations, if you can identify any constellations such as Big Dipper, Small Dipper, Orion's Belt. If you see any airplanes, or maybe if you see some satellites, anything of that nature that you may see in terms of observing what's going on. So just do that for tonight. Then what we've got here is we've got a video. You're going to watch the video and you should be taking notes from the video as well, so that when you're done with the video you can answer this question. All right, just a couple of things from the video that you should jot down in terms of notes. So I'm not going to play the video. You guys play the video on your own after you watch this recording, but you should be able to define the Big Bang Theory. You should also be able to define Hubble's law. You should also be able to define dark energy, dark matter, the big chill, and the big crunch. Okay, so you should have all of those written down and some sort of a definition or an explanation for each of those. Now, when you get to questions like this on the screen, I would jot this question down in my notes, because you'll most likely see this again in things like your quiz. So jot the question and the answer down in your notes when you get to it. All right, so when we get to the next page here, let me scoot my text over a little bit. All right, there's a couple of things that you need to take away from this page at the minimum, okay? Of course you can write down more in terms of your notes, but you don't have to, okay? So this is just the minimum things that I think you need to write down. All right, you need to know what an astronomical unit is, what an AU is. You should write this down and have some sort of a definition or description for that. Light year. You should also have light year written down and some sort of a definition and description for that. Now, astronomical units is the distance from the sun to the earth, or the earth to the sun. It's that distance. Light year, it's the speed of light traveling in terms of 300,000 kilometers. Okay, so be sure you have all of that written down. Then you also want to jot down in order these stars here that it has listed. So these are stars that are in between us and the sun, and its proximity to us as far as Earth. So you should jot those down and in order. Now, another question and answer, be sure that you have this written down in your notes, okay? And I know I'm going quick. This is just an overview of the lesson and what you should be doing in terms of your notes. So we've got another video here. Watch the video. As far as the video is concerned, you should be able to define what a galaxy is, the 3 types of galaxies, what a binary star system is, what multiple star systems are, the Milky Way, what it is, the geocentric model, who Ptolemy is. He's a scientist, so you should always write down a scientist and what they've done. Maybe if it tells you the years in which they lived or the years in which they invented or created something, write that down as well. It also lists Copernicus and Galileo. Those scientists, have them down and what they did. And then it talks about the heliocentric model. So jot the heliocentric model down and what it is. So give it some sort of a definition or description. Okay. Geocentric model, we were talking about the Earth being at the center and everything rotating around the Earth. Heliocentric model, we're talking about the sun being in the center and everything rotating around the sun. So the heliocentric model is what we believe and know to be true now. So this is the model that we use now, the heliocentric model. All right. Our galaxy, of course, is the Milky Way. It introduces that in the video, but it talks a little bit more about it here, okay? So in terms of jotting things down, I would just put down what type of galaxy it is, its estimation in terms of length and distance, some things that are found in our galaxy. Then you also have some question and some answers. Of course, be sure that you jot those down in your notes as well. And guys, feel free, if you need to pause this recording at any time, please feel free to pause this recording as needed, okay? All right. Pressing on. All right, spaceship Earth. So what they're talking about here basically is that the Earth is a vessel. It is a spaceship. We all live on Earth. It inhabits everything that we need to live and thrive and survive, okay? So we have oxygen, we have water, we have food. It has everything that we need. So it's saying, in terms of your address, be sure that you understand not only where you live on Earth in terms of your physical address, but be sure that you understand that you live on Earth, its location in terms of our solar system, and its location in terms of our galaxy. All right, and then you've got another question and answer here. Be sure you have that written down. All right, another video. I really like the videos. I think they're great for you guys. They're short, but they're full of information. So if you need to pause those videos to jot information down, I recommend that you do that. All right, so from this video, some things that you should have written down in your notes, okay? So this is just an example. These are things that I recommend. And going forward, these will be some things that you'll look for as well. So you should be able to define or describe the solar system, okay, what a solar system is. Then also define and describe our solar system. Be able to list the planets in order. So either from the out coming in, so Pluto to the sun, or from the sun to Pluto, be able to list them in order. Something else that you should have for your notes is, what is a planet? Be able to define what a planet is. Also be able to define what a dwarf planet is. It gives you another scientist in this video, Johannes Kepler. Be sure that you can tell me, or in your notes have written down, who he is and what he did, or what he described, defined, what he found, okay? And then nebula hypothesis. Be sure that you can describe, define what a nebula hypothesis is in your notes. So in terms of our solar system and in terms of a planet, what is a planet? So a planet has a couple of things. One, it has a star that orbits it. Two, it has its own gravity, and it's spherical-like in shape, so it's round. Three, it's not a star. So stars are usually gaseous. They give off and radiate some sorts of light, and they're irregular in terms of shape. And then a planet also needs to have a cleared orbital path. And what that means is that the planet has rotated around its path enough that its path has been cleared. So it's bumped into or pushed everything out of its way in terms of clearing its orbital path. So that's already been done. Now, dwarf planets like Pluto have not cleared its orbital path. Now, this could be for one of two reasons, or three reasons. It could be that the orbital path is too big, and so by the time it comes back through its path, something else has jumped in its way. It could be that the planet is not big enough to push items clearly out of the way. Or three, it could have an irregular path that it's following, so it might not be following the same path exactly every time. And it should follow the same path every time. So I would make sure that I have that written in my notes as well. All right, here what they're doing is they're giving you the NASA website. Go to the NASA website, just look around for a little bit, see what you can find, see what you can discover. Maybe jot some notes down from the NASA website, maybe something that you found interesting or didn't know. But be sure that you also copy this question and answer down in your notes. All right, when we have matching, always write the items down and then the correct definition or description in your notes, okay? These are probably items that you'll see again like on quizzes or tests. All right, same thing for here. When we have a drag in terms of a drag and drop or description, make sure that you jot down the correct matching in your notes because you'll probably see it again. So this is great review. This is great practice for quizzes, for tests. All right, guys, if you have any questions, if you need any help, of course, email me, but you can also let Mr. Wilson know and he can contact me directly. So bye, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I will meet with you guys on Wednesday. See you then.